The painting Tetty is a portrait of Henrietta Wolf, who was 97 when she sat for this portrait, and it was produced in 1995, so 24 years ago. This is one of my very earliest paintings and one of my first experiments in narrative portraiture. Her story was remarkable, and she was like a close friend of the family. She went to live with my grandparents in Holland after the Second World War because her entire family was wiped out during the Holocaust. So her story is what inspired me to paint her. She's an incredible woman. She was only about 4 foot high, but she came straight out of central casting out of a Woody Allen movie. She was brilliant. And so she survived the most incredible experience in Auschwitz. She spent 2.5 years in Auschwitz, which is almost unheard of to spend that long. And she survived for this very unusual reason. She had this rare blood type that the Nazis were using for experimental purposes, which is absolutely extraordinary. And she rarely spoke about her experiences, but during the sitting she started to open up about what had happened to her during the Second World War. And her doctor was the infamous Joseph Mengele, which is the most extraordinary thing, and unfortunately she couldn't have any children after the war. So basically they were using her blood, because it was such a rare blood type, to conduct their medical experiments with. It's just unbelievable. And keeping her alive by giving her extra rations. So the irony of it was her Jewish blood that got her into the camps in the first place, but yet ironically saved her as well. And she then also survived the death march and lived to the ripe old age of 98, 99 in Long Island, New York. So it's the most incredible story, and I thought she was really an inspiration to paint. But on one of her trips to visit us, and when I grew up in Sydney, she used to come for several months and stay with us, which was nice. And I decided to paint her on one of these trips, and despite the fact that it was in the middle of summer in Sydney, I put her in this warm winter coat. I reimagined what she was wearing to try to tell, her narrative. So this was one of my first portraits where I tried to tell stories through the representation, how I chose to represent her. And so I thought there was a little suitcase to her left, and she's got an umbrella. So she's, to evoke that sense of, what she had experienced during the war, that sense of displacement, being moved around, the refugee experience as well. And she had this tattoo on her arm, which I highlighted as well, which indicates, which tells a story. So her sleeves are rolled up to see that. I thought it was very important to see the tattoo to signify her journey and her experiences. But it's all in the eyes. There's something about her soulful expression and the sort of inquisitive but, penetrating gaze that I found really compelling.